Bottle of red. Hey everybody, morning. Good Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning, everyone. Although it's not, if everybody's going crazy in the world. Hang on, my beard's a little messed up. Gotta get it. Everybody's crazy on a Sunday morning, right? Last night they're all going nuts. Rhode Island, Australia, all kinds of stupid people, because it's what they do. I've almost feeling that the holidays are going to be a target this year. It seems very holiday centric to me. So I feel like our holidays, is it tough? Am I got sound? Am I sound? Yeah, I got sound. I was like, am I sounding? Yeah, I have a feeling our holidays is going to be like this. Not too cool. Oh, there it is. Hang on. I was just making sure I'm up here. Morning, all. Saying hi to everybody, getting that up. All right, I look good now. All right, I'm on it. I'm on it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hide Sunday morning brunch. Lowlight here, talking just current events, crazy stuff. One thing I want to say, because they're all talking about Steven Spielberg's UFO show. I'm not going to talk these friggin' Muslims going crazy, shooting everybody. We know they have a problem. You just have to be you have to be safe out there because they're not cool. I might get this. Let me just see something here. Make sure, because I moved everything around. I gotta make sure. MacBook Mixcast output. There we go. Input is Mixcast. Am I out into the Mixcast? Check. Yeah, I think I'm out into the Mixcast now. All right, I think I'm all right. Sorry, I like changed it to my other speakers when I was listening to something. I got volume here. Hang on. There we go. Now I can hear myself. Couldn't hear myself. Yeah, so these guys are all going crazy, man. You got to be safe out there with your family this holiday season. Head on a swivel in your pocket or person, however you want to word that. But good morning, everyone. Coffee. Morning. Morning, Wendell. How are you? Let me jump over there. I'm getting myself all situated. Morning. Sorry, I was a little discombobulated. I jumped ahead. I didn't wait. I didn't want to wait till 10 o'clock. I'm like 9:45 is a good number. I'm getting on at 9:45 because it's a good number. And so I jumped on a little earlier, and I didn't hit every single button that I had. But watched the interesting morning. Watch the interesting movie Alien. So talking Steven Spielberg, his Disclosure movie's coming out, and he's got these posters going around with the eyes. Is it human? Is it alien? Is it hybrid? And all that happening. Well, I watched Begonia, okay, over the weekend. Begonia, like last night before. And it's Emma Stone and then that Plymouth guy, the one with the pink sunglass guy from Civil War. What kind of American are you? That dude, he's in it. Well, he's like a conspiracy theorist, and he's like, aliens are controlling stuff and they're taking over the planet and breaking it. Like they're here to not help, they're here to hurt. So he has this whole, and he's like just a, like crazy conspiracy guy. And the movie just goes like, whoa. It's like total spoiler movie. But if you want kind of a like blow your mind and listening to Begonia. Begonia is interesting, and I dug it. And it has some really cool flips to it, but it's like it's totally the internet. It's totally, the Trump versus Joe Biden years with the conspiracy theories where like every conspiracy theory came true, and it's like, hey, this is happening, and they're like, no, you're a conspiracy theorist, and then 6 months later, true. And then they're like, hey, this has happened. And they're like, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. 6 months later, true. So if you're into the alien conspiracies and you're into it's like I said, it's entertaining, it's well made. They do a good job on it. And so I watched Begonia. And so that was a fun little flick for you out there and doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm enjoying. I'm down to like the final 10 days of my book. I'm assembling the book, putting a big focus on the gravity ballistics in the book and craft wind. I'm including Chris in my book. I'd said to somebody, some people didn't realize I had written the first book. It's behind me. I can't quite reach it. It's over that shoulder. There it is. It's right there. There's my book. And people are like, you wrote a book, but if you go to Amazon and you can check out, you can put my name in, and both will come up because they're already advertising the new book, which isn't even turned in yet, but it's already listed on Amazon right now. So you can go. But I'm doing part two. A little bit of tips and tricks, a little bit of cut to the chase, a little bit of lessons learned instead of throwing the kitchen sink at you. It's going to be a little smaller, lighter, quicker book to get people up and running faster. And then, interesting part of the book, they wanted me to do a buying guide. And I have it somewhere. The way they initially worded it was like cheap rifle, medium rifle, expensive rifle. And it was almost like, you know, what's Frank's favorite rifles for the buying guide in the cheap bucket? And I'm like, nah, I'm going to do why I'm buying things. What attracts me to something? What direction I'm going. Yeah, it's Amazon, so you can get it all over the place. The books usually do travel for Europe and stuff because it's on Amazon and in the Gun Digest library or store, whatever they call it. Gun Digest has a bookstore because they publish a lot of books for people. But yeah, you should be able to get it in Australia and in the different places. Sorry about what happened with you guys, man. Friggin' politicians wreck everything, you know? Just terrible, terrible, terrible. So out to the Bondi Beach people down there and uh, can't say anything really. It's just we know it. It's the average person with common sense knows these things are going to happen because the idiots who weasel themselves in government, weasel is the word, weasel themselves in government, wreck it for all of us, and they're happy to break us because the breaking is money, right? Follow the money. It's always about the money. And the more they break something, the more money you need to fix it. Of course, none of their ideas are going to fix anything. However, they need money. So, you know, don't worry about what they're saying. Just give them money and it'll be all better. Trust them. Trust me. It'll be better. Don't worry about the words. Just know it takes money. That's what it takes, right? Throw enough dollar bills in the atmosphere. Yeah, well, that's why I'm leaving too. So we're looking right now. We're in conversation. I'm in communist Colorado. Colorado is no different than Australia, really. So you guys are getting bad. We have the loonies. And now we have the big fight with Tina Peters, Jenna Griswold. I'm going to tell you my 2020 Jenna Griswold story to kick off. Since we're in this, bad politics mode on a Sunday morning. Yes, I did see Dan go after Sean and Sean go after Dan. I did see that. I don't like Dan. And I have a very straight line to the boys at SEAL Team 6. Very straight line. I never say anything about because I don't want to embarrass him. But fuck him. Dan I don't like at all. Not a fan of Dan. And so here in Colorado, speaking commies, right? So 2020, they come in and take over. Well, they've been 6 years. They did 23 gun laws here. So in the last 6 years, Colorado's like mega commie. Well, 2020, I see this coming, and I'm like, oh man, we need right. And you see the state turning, you see the ugliness, you see the gun laws. I go Republican down the line in Colorado in 2020. I get my ballot rejected. I'm leaving. We're going to Missouri. No, I'm going to Missouri. We're looking right now. We're already communicating. Um, we're already communicating with places in Missouri, and we found one last night. We're talking to right now that I really like. I found one before, but it went immediately. Um, yeah, man, I'm not a Dan Crenshaw fan. And I don't really know how I feel about Sean, but I'm not a Crenshaw fan. Sean, you know, he's playing the game in my mind, which you have to. I don't fault somebody who's public, who's media, who's way bigger than I'll ever be, playing a certain amount of the game. You have to. And so, but I'm not a Dan fan for any stretch of the imagination. And there is a lot of questions on how's Dan making money, but capitalism, I guess. That's what it is. But yeah, so I vote 2020, my ballot gets rejected. The day it's due, it comes back in the mail. They say your ballot's been rejected. There's a letter. And then from there, it's like, turn it in by this time and it'll get counted. Well, that time was that day. And I get my ballot at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm like, fuck it. Election's over. They rejected my ballot and I tossed it to the side. I get a letter 10 days later threatening me with jail and election fraud. She iced me to the nth degree, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I had to jump through hoops and submit new signatures and do a whole thing all over again while being threatened. In the middle of being threatened by Jenna here in Colorado, the fucking dirty commie she is, I get Perkins Coie, the liberal law firm, calling me because I'm unaffiliated here. I'm not conservative, I'm unaffiliated. And they're like, you were iced. Your ballot was cheated. You were wronged. Blah, 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 blah. And they called me and they're like, you were wronged. We want to represent you. And they said, tell us your story. I said, okay, here's my story. And I voted Republican down the line. Click. They hung up. They never called back. They never did a thing. Once I said Republican, they're like, nope, not helping you. But when they initially called me, they said you were wronged as an independent voter. And so, yeah, I'm out, man. We were yesterday. Laura talked to 3 places yesterday. I'm already jumping ship. I'm going to Missouri. Not too far. I talked to Gardner. He's going to give me some access potentially to his range. So we looked at it. I was like an hour, not even an hour, 45 minutes from Gardner's range. We found some nice places. So and if I have to hold 2 for a minute, I'm going to hold this one and that one and move everything to Missouri. And as I cycle out of Colorado, I'm gone. Done. State is finished in my eyes. So I'm out. But yeah, we looked closer. And honestly, Wendell, I feel just like they're doing in North Carolina. North Carolina's under attack. Iowa is as well. The only reason that I didn't jump to Iowa like straight off the bat, because I feel they have a hard on for Iowa and they're going after Iowa. And I didn't want to be there 4 years in and have them get a foothold and go through the same thing I went through in Colorado because of, the politics of it. And so Missouri, yeah. And so Missouri, man, I'm on the way. Already looking, already found a couple places that suit my needs. We're looking at areas to be close, airports and the range. And I've already talked to people. We're there. So yeah, I can't operate in Colorado in 26. After August of 26, when the new gun law kicks in, you won't get a gun in Colorado. It's done. You're going to be gunless and move into the future. And then, everybody's like lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. That's years, man. Look at the magazine stuff. They've lost. Like even California, they lost the restriction on magazine ban, like the 30 round mag. That's lost so many times in court, but they bounce them back and forth. You lost up. I'm going to try again lower and then bring it back upper. And so I'm not playing that game where somebody tells me, you know, like I got banned by a bunch of these new and upcoming Tennessee's overrun by liberals. Uh Texas is too hot. Kentucky I don't mind, but it was the Iowa, like Wendell talking, because Laura's from Iowa. And then this area, I like the shooting in this area. Mile High has a shop in Wyoming. Mile High gets raped constantly, and they can't do anything about it. Every month you go into Mile High, it looks different because as an effect of these gun laws, they can't have ammo on the floor at Mile High. They have to hand it to you. So they used to have racks and racks of ammo when you walked in Mile High. All that's gone. You can't have certain things out where the public can access it here. They have to lock it all up now. So Mile High opened up a shop in Wyoming. So when things are shut down in Colorado, they drive it to a warehouse in Wyoming so they don't get in trouble for it, and they don't have to lose it, for lack of a better word. But Missouri, because of how red it is, and then the location for ranges, and then location, and honestly, Tennessee's getting overrun. Way too many people are going to Tennessee. I don't like it. Texas is too hot. To be honest with you, driving from Rifles Only, we found a great place in Texas, North Texas over here, in the Northwest Texas, Amarillo. Like we're cutting through, and Laura's looking at Zillow, and we found a place that was in Amarillo that was rock star. And Amarillo has a really, really good shooting community. And hey, babe, and Amarillo has a great shooting community, but it's Texas, man, and it's hot, and I don't like. And she doesn't like the heat. I don't like the heat. We want a little bit of I don't mind the heat. I can live with the heat, but I do like seasons. You know what I mean? Come from Connecticut, I like seasons. So um, but yeah, so that part of Missouri gives me access to airports, gives me access to ranges in the shooting in the area that I like and I'm still used to. Still gives me my Nebraska classes, my Iowa classes, and my classes that we're still doing traveling in the area without a big deal of a travel. You know what I mean? I can get to Nebraska, no problem. I can get to Iowa, no problem. Kansas and Missouri right there have a huge shooting community. And as I said, I spoke with George, and he has a range that, in his words, are underutilized. So if I can get a deal with George and I can lease his part, or cut a deal with him in some way, now I have a range with a community of shooters. So Missouri just worked out really well. But yeah, it's totally, so this communist place, man, has to go. You cannot operate in Colorado anymore. It's just insane. And hopefully the feds can come in here and clean this place up because it's blatant. Not only did they wipe the computers like they're talking about against federal law, they made laws, which is why Tina Peters is in jail. You can't question an election. None of us in this state can say, you cheated. We want to see open your books. If you say, open your books, I think you cheated, you get arrested. That's the laws here now. You cannot question an election. They made it where it's subversive if you do, and you'll go to jail for questioning their election. That's why they say Colorado's a gold standard, and they lie, cheat, and steal, and they're so scared, blaming everything here, because if the books get open and they get caught, it would have to be somebody from the outside that catches them, because no one from the inside of the state can legally question an election. They made the laws where you cannot question them. So, oh, hang on. Howdy, hi, guys. Just doing that in there. But yeah, that's the craziness. That's the world that these commies and all this shit is going on. I mean, it is absolutely, positively, 100% a color revolution taking place in this country. They don't want our Constitution to stand. They want to tear down the Constitution, bankrupt the company, reset the corporation with new laws, and the new laws won't have free speech, won't have gun laws, won't have that, search and seizure laws and things like that, unreasonable search and seizure. They'll just wipe out the parts of the Constitution that are in their way, and we're just in a commie wet friggin' place, man. So you know, it's one of those deals. Yeah, they say they caught the guy from Brown. There's unconfirmed reports. He said something, Arabic before he started shooting. I personally think it was a Hanukkah thing. I think the timing for Hanukkah was right. And Australia and Rhode Island are connected by timing, not by other than like-minded evil people. Not in a conspiracy that way, but in a timing where all these guys are like, non-Muslim holiday, let's make them suffer. So I think you're gonna find Rhode Island has more to do with that than anything else really. But who knows? What do I know? I don't know nothing. They I only know what they tell me, right? I only know what they tell me. Exactly. And then I went, so it's Sunday morning coffee. I got to talk about my coffee for a minute again. So I had a coffee machine that I really liked. Ground my own. Oh, what am I working on? So the move is my next. So I'm gonna change this up. But the move is next project. But the book, I'm putting the book together. So I have to assemble and do the book. So I'm in book mode. And then the next project is the move. I honestly did not book any courses for the first half of the year. I haven't booked anything beyond the historical that we do every year for the first quarter because of the move. So my next project is the move, is to see, what's going on with that. I'm in a happy place. I like where I am with the 6 arcs. I think the 6 arc and the bolt gun is excellent. I think the pipeline of a 6 arc gas gun into a 6 arc bolt gun is valid and efficient, as well can become, for lack of a better word, economical. And so I like the pipeline. But then the other thing that I'm doing, I spoke the South Florida. So my cousin and I went and spent time in South Florida, and my cousin has an outfitters there. And so we're looking at doing something in South Florida with him. He has a lot of resources. He has a lot of land. There's bunkhouses and things on the land that they're using. Like I said, the parcel I was on was 40,000 acres, every kind of critter, from, rabbits to hogs to deer, alligator, whatever the heck you want to shoot, it's all there. Anything Florida offers, they have. I believe even a bear or two. Um, and then coyotes and things like that. The bunkhouse sleeps 10. It's easy to access and it's nice. So I think I may move into helping them kind of work up something in South Florida and then bounce between the classes. And then I'm kind of getting, because of the 6 arc project, I'm back into the gas gun world. And so him and I were talking because, like, like Laura's a big Noveski fan, and I got the card from Noveski guy because I talked to them in Florida. But I'm like looking at some Q stuff for me. So I might, because he's a dealer and he has an account and he does things with Q. So him and I, fanboy over Q stuff. So I think I'm gonna set myself up in the Q world, in the AR world, kitted out. Why you're seeing me go thermal and night vision a little bit more. Electro optics, ARs, and animals probably in South Florida. And then the bolt gun work. I may play that bolt gun and see what I can do. And like I said, I want ease of entry. So the mindset is how do you get somebody who's already doing part of this to do more of this? I don't want to say grow the sport. That's a punchline, right? I'm already on record as one of the ultimate grow the sports. Nobody has a track record of growing precision rifle, growing the shooting community like me and Sniper's Hide. If you go back to my 2002, 2003, and take it to 2012, before any of the series, the growth in that time was bigger than ever before. We did things that nobody ever did. And so I want to change a little bit of direction with that, but now look at how to do it with people easier. Yeah, totally. It's like that's exactly. And honestly, when I came back to the lodge, there were people there doing exactly that. There was a family there that's related because there's multiple groups involved in this. Not a lot, but a couple. They were totally game animal and eating stuff around the grills. So this lodge has like a 4 grill outside setup. Has the refrigerator box with the racks to hold the animals and skin them right there. So you have the I'm spacing for the word, the hoist. The hoist is there. The freezer's next to the hoist, and then there's a 4 grill and table and picnic table set up, all concreted in and under awning stuff under top, and it's crazy. What's the good clip-on thermals? I have a SB and I need a dude, that Leica. If you're doing the S&B, pair it with that Leica that I just did the videos. I wish I'm using the bolt carrier group right now. I'm just using the Bear Creek and then Craddock. I'm just using the Bear Creek right now, bolt carrier. I excuse me, still got that cold. I haven't gone out and upgraded the bolt carriers for my arcs. I'm using the Bear Creek bolt carriers right now. So I'm not using any crazy bolt carriers. But the Leica, I wish I can show the videos. I'm on YouTube. I can't play the videos because they'll zap me. But the that Leica is so easy, so simplistic. You have such fine detail, and then just to clip it right on, it works fantastic. The only thing is I don't doesn't have an adapter that I saw for an LVPO or low power LPVO, not LVPO, LPVO. I didn't see an adapter that's small. They have a 50 and 56. They're probably going to have to find a size for a LPVO and get that in the 20s, 30s, or whatever the most common size is. I don't know. I'd have to look. But yeah, I really like the ease and the simplicity of that Leica, and it's so ergonomic, and it's so small and like boom, and then on off, and we drove it around South Florida, and I saw everything with it. I mean, like I said, I even in the video, rabbits, birds. Like I'll see something small glowing. What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, it's a bird in there. And because I'll catch a flash of it, but it's so good. And there's the dedicated, there's cheapers. Up, I pulled that out. the DNTs that are less money, that DNT for $2,000 is nice as a dedicated unit if you wanted. Uh, I pulled my thing out. Something a little bit more dedicated, you know? My nose is. I got that cold and my nose is going crazy. It's still not going away. But yeah, I'm really digging that. But yeah, I think I might do like kit out a Q outfit and then kit it up with thermals and night vision. I have my thermal or my night vision right behind me, my lasers and stuff from the rifles only days. You know, because I had it. I just don't use it after. When we were doing all those classes at rifles only with the military, I had everything. And then I just tossed it to the side and put it away. I'm like, okay, that's not my world. But now I have it all and I got to get my helmet and put everything back together and do my kit so I can go out and whack boar and whack animals at night and do all the night fighter stuff. I mean, really, to be honest with you, the project, talking project, it's a light fighter project. And coming off of the South Florida police thing, I'm convinced again. I'm reinforcing the convincing me that our packs are wrong. You know what I mean? Right? Is not those videos, Wendell, on that Leica really nice? And just seeing that antelope target behind the defilade and how small it looks, and then the hit, and then you see it move when it hits, and then you could see most of it as it flops in the thing. That Leica was really good. But light fighter. So I felt seeing the law enforcement conference when I was down in South Florida. I went to the law enforcement conference with Jack there and his thing. I felt stuff was cumbersome and inefficient. And I feel digging into packs is slow. And even like when Chris and I were talking NRL Hunter stuff, I felt in seeing at Major Land that the packs aren't really great. And I feel like, oh, talking and burping and pulling air in all kinds of ways. Sorry about that. I'm like, what am I doing? But the packs are really inefficient. And I feel like a Molly frame where you then set up the pack to access what you need quicker, even from the outside when needed, but still holding it securely, still letting you run and gun to a certain extent. So, and I spent this week a little bit looking at the light fighter aspect. And I was looking at H harnesses everywhere. Like if I break out my H harness, what does every H harness have but mags across our front? And we're not going to lay down. Now we stand a lot more. We're positional a lot more. So for a bolt gunner, maybe it's not as bad with some of these H harnesses, the laser cut H harnesses, but I gotta say we can do it better. So for me, it's a speed and efficiency thing. Like, I want to grab the H harness, put that on with my belt, my handgun, all my pouches and what I need, but keep my front clear. Maybe put the placard right here that I can drop down and look at, or have even if I need to, I can put binos to it. But on or off, like I want my front free a little bit more, and I want it spread to my sides and back. And so these H harnesses are so good now with the laser cutting and the molly. Yeah, exactly. A chest rig modified with a fall exactly around the sides. You're reading my mind. And there isn't one yet. And so I need to talk to a couple different guys and see if I can assemble one. Because this is Lego stuff. It's building things that like he has that. All right, I like that. I like that. If I put that with that belt, now I can put these together. Then from there, any of these pouches will work along here. You know what I mean? That type of mindset. So then In chest rigs, I mean, I have the battle belts. I always wore the battle belts because, one, I'm smaller. So I have padded battle belts. Mostly my belts are tag gear from back in the day, the original tag padded belt. And they're comfy. But you almost still need a suspender H harness. So take that whole thought process with the modern H harness, the laser cut molly, and what they're doing there, and go from a suspender to an H harness to externally moving things to where we need them and not to where they're giving them. So that's where my head's at, is marrying the AR world with the bolt gun world in a way that's more designated marksman, and not, I'm an AR guy with a accurate gun. You know what I mean? Because everything right now is like, be a rifleman, and or assaulter rather is a better word. Everybody's an assaulter. I don't want to be an assaulter. Everybody is an assaulter. Okay, I'll be half an assaulter. I'll be an assaulter going there, and I'll be an assaulter coming home, but I'm a bolt gun guy. So I need my kit to reflect that. Like, even one of the best pieces of kit that I saw that almost fit my need, but it was overpriced for me to try it, was a medic kit from Sotec. Sotec had a medics kit, and the front was free. He just had bigger pouches around the sides and edges. But his medic kit kept the front more free, because everything's assaulter or machine gun, which is putting a breacher, which is putting everything up front. And the medic didn't have his stuff up front. But there is no marksman kit, right? And so I need a marksman kit. And that's the direction I want to go. How do I take somebody in the 6-arc bolt gun world or gas gun world who might be a designated marksman, 20, 22-inch 6-arc, and a gasser is a DM gun all day, every day. It's going to let you reach out and touch. So set me up like a DM guy, but give me mags, right? But then if I move to bolt gun in the same platform, I want to be able to switch to my other mags or have something that's not so much in the way. And then I still need, and this is a key thing, the comp world, even though they don't do it, because the comp people stop moving and they're not really going beyond an extra mag, right? Really, it's a game changer in 2 magazines. And most guys can solve the problem in a match with a game changer in 2 magazines. So they've slimmed down and they've stripped down the equipment that they're using. Well, I want to take elements of accessing a game changer quickly, getting at a mag and things like that, but having less to where I can put a thermal on there and it's not in my way, but if I need it, I have it. Where I can put my radio on there and it's not in my way. Because the comp people have managed to strip themselves down. It's light fighting, right? And we need to be fast and agile and mobile. I want to be fast again. I want light is right. I want movement. I want to be, you got to be quicker than the other guy. And if your gear is in your way, there's no way you could be quicker than the other guy. So that's the projects. That's where my mind's at right now. I've kind of, don't get me wrong, we're still going to do like the 25 Creedmoor stuff. I haven't finished anything on the 25 Creedmoor yet. And I think the 25 Creedmoor is right there. I like the Arc world. I like the Creedmoor world. I like the PRC world. And so I have to talk about the 25 Creedmoor going forward. There's a lot of these things that where my head's at. But yeah. And then the other thing I was going to say is I ended up I went and got a new coffee machine too. I was gonna tell you guys coffee morning. So fighting with coffee. I was running an espresso machine next to a Keurig machine, and then I had 3 machines going, and I didn't like any of them for any one thing. So I ended up buying like a crazy automatic-y one that does it does push button everything, and I'm like, now I gotta set it. Because this one I made, it's like it's only the second cup I made out of it. It's not set right, and I have to change it to make it stronger. And then I did an Americano with it, and I misunderstood the ratio. So now I got to go back and fix the ratio of coffee to water. I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. And so, yeah, six PRC. No, there's no 6 PRC, 6.5 PRC. There's 6 Creedmoor, not 6 PRC. PRC 6.5, 7, and 300. The PRCs are bigger. They're short action mags and mag. And then the Creedmoors are your short action. And then your arcs are your small frame. So arc is your small frame. So anything in the arc world, 22, 6, 338. I like that. Then Creedmoors are your short action, 6, 6.5, 25, 22, right? 22, 6, 6.5, 25. It's the other way. 25 is before 6.5. 25, 6.5. And then your PRCs are 6.5, 7, and 300. So that's how that world's swirling. But I like those rounds. You know, I like those cartridges. And a 30-06 is a cartridge, not the bullet. It's the cartridge. They're arguing online about the 30-06 again, what it did. And they're like, I'm talking about a bullet, not a... And it's like, dude, that thing's isn't it like a 80-year-old gun? Like, who knows what that family did to that thing? These guys are going and buying ammo off the shelf, not knowing what that gun shot. For all we know, that thing's only going like 2350, and everybody's here shooting 30-06s like 2650 or higher because they're buying boxes and getting new guns. Meanwhile, fucking the kid with his grandpa's 30-06, and then somebody said, "What if's doing a lot of work here? What a bunch of bullshit." What if the gun's 80 years old? You don't know what the barrel's like. How do you know it's not pitted and fucking corroded and losing half its muzzle velocity because it doesn't shoot worth a shit? So they're all trying to argue why or why not a 30-06 went or didn't go through a neck. And it's like, dude, that's like an 80-year-old hunting rifle, and it sounds like they shot it. So it could be nuked. You don't know what the frig that bullet's doing. Or barrel, you don't know the muzzle velocity. You don't know anything. They didn't tell you, oh, we checked out Grandpa's gun, and it's 2678 with a 125 grain. Instead, they're all guessing. And then it's going like everything they're shooting at, everything goes right through. And it's like, yeah, because it's fast as fuck. And it's like, how do you know Grandpa's not thing? The GT is good. I like the GT over the Dasher. The Dasher shit. I like the 6 GT. I think they did a really good... And I have a GT right here. I have 2 of them. I have 2 6 GTs. I think a 6 GT... If you just want a comp gun, you don't want to play around, it's like, I want to do comp. That's it. 6 GT. Over the Dasher. You'll save money over the Dasher. You won't need the specialized tools. You're not going to spend too much money on brass. You could go buy a case of ammo, use that brass for as long as you get away with it if you lose some brass. Nothing says you got to go buy Starline or Alpha or somebody Gucci. You know what I mean? But I do think the 6 GT is a very good cartridge. And I think it's pre-tuned in a lot of ways to get you up and running quickly. It's the right recoil, right size, right accuracy node. It checks every box, and it's factory, which is my box. Because in order to grow the sport, you need a factory offering. There is no line on the planet that includes grow the sport that means you have to only hand load it. If If like, hey, grow the sport, bring your friend. Okay, friend, you got to do a 6 dasher. Winners shoot a dasher. Friend, do you have 10 grand to start? No factory gun, no factory ammo, high end shit because they have a captured audience, couple specialized tools because necks and shit they don't like. They're tiny. And I think it's a bad pipeline. The fact that they continue to chase it as an option and didn't sort of convince people to move away from it, I believe does them a disservice, because you're going to get somebody who shows up, and I'm sure it's happened, where a crowd is trying to tell them they have to be a dasher. They've looked at the dollar signs around it. They looked at the infrastructure. They looked at everything that has to be done and got turned off by it. You know, you have to go to the nth degree to be a dasher guy. You can't, for lack of a better word, half-ass a dasher. You can half-ass a GT, 6 GT, because it's got factory ammo. You can half-ass that. You can't half-ass a dasher, and that's money. Follow the money. It's all money. Money, 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 money. Yeah, and right, mags and shit, and I mean they have tools for the mag. You have to buy that mag, you know, and I get it. You can go and get it, but again, it's a dedicated infrastructure. You can go out, buy a Seekins Hit Pro, $2,100. Get a 6 GT barrel. You're in the game. Right? It's switch barrel. That's the cheapest. As far as I know, a Seekins Hit Pro is the cheapest switch barrel with the easiest pipeline next to a Bighorn, but Bighorns aren't switch barrel like that. So a Seekins Hit Pro, which has changeable bolt heads and swappable barrels, it's a chassis, flat bottom, magazine fed, does everything, and it's like under $2,500. And it's just a single screw like an AI. So it's the complete package. All you would need is a GT barrel. Buy the 308, get a GT barrel, and you're in the game. You can't do that with a dasher. Impossible. So that's my mindset. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to, and I get it. You guys all convinced everybody winners shoot a dasher, but that's because they're the same people who came up through that world and haven't switched. And there's no incentive for that person to switch because they spent so much money to get where they are now. Why would they switch? It's successful. They already did the cost of entry. So it makes zero sense for a previous dasher person to switch. You have to convince new people not to go the dasher route. But as long as the old dasher people are still there and winning, there's an argument to go the dasher route. And it's a bad one. But that's the world we live in, you know, because it's money and barrels and burning and this. But like I said, there's pipelines that no one ever talks about that are, you know what I mean? So instead of 10 grand, it's 5. 2,500 for a Seekins, 2,500 for a scope. You buy a case of ammo, go to your local match. Done. Don't like it? Make it a 308 again and go back to shooting whatever you were, or 6.5 or whatever caliber you were shooting before that. And it cost you a barrel. That was it. You bought a barrel. Right? Nobody talks about the smart, efficient, easy way to go pipeline. Nobody talks about that. Same thing with all the friggin' right? Yeah. Wait, you don't need it, but that's the argument. Dude, I got in a fight with friggin' Ryan Hay, started an argument with me because a guy, I was tooling Facebook. Cody, I'll tell you exactly, right. But Morgan's a top level guy. You can't compare the top 10. That's their job. Ask Morgan how much practice he does. He has no life. He practices. He studies for a test every single week. But I'm cruising Facebook a couple months back, and a guy came into one of the uh, groups and says, "Hey, I own a 6 arc. I want to shoot PRS. Can I do it? Um, hang on. My daughter took a fall on her horse. I'm telling her to go to the hospital." So anyway, so the guy said, "Can I do this?" And they came right in and said, "Winners shoot dashers. If you're not doing what the winners are doing, you're stupid." And and I said, "Why would you say that?" And his answer to me was, "You hate us. Get away. Go away." And I'm like, I'm just like, why would you tell a guy who already owns something 6 millimeter that he can't use that and he needs a dasher? I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And it's like, why would that's the punchline of grow the sport. I get you don't need a lot of things, but this is the line they're selling people. I'd do it with a 6.5 and shoot a 100 grainer. Oh, wait, there's a speed limit. I can't shoot the 100 grainer. Right? I can't do that because they have a speed limit in their thing. So to give somebody new who's not hand loading a leg up, you got to find a way inside speed limits for things. And a 100 grainer would save people from themselves. But factory 6.5, right, it's the money pipeline. A factory 6.5 isn't going to make you Morgan King. You know what I mean? Just going, "Hey man, I got a Tika T3X. I got my Tika T3 and 6.5 in the chassis and I put it in a KRG. Now I'm going to be Morgan King." Woo! No. Not unless you got Morgan King's freaking training schedule. Right. It's the pipeline and the pipeline. It's this, right? Because you can't grab a gun off the shelf and they don't have anything for that guy to encourage him. There's nothing to encourage that thing. It's like, so I don't know. I just think it's like there's a million ways to skin the cat, and only a small number of them. Like, you can name the guys that are successful. The Morgan Kings, the Austin Bushmans, the Organes, right? Austin Orgain, Clay's, Black's Letter, Preston. There's only 10 guys that are winning everything for the last 5 years. You know what I mean? It's like, who's upset the apple cart? Who was like, "Holy cow, where did he come from?" Nobody. Nobody walked off a street with a street gun, with a street ammo. You have to follow the rules. And the rules are, if your SD's not -5, or below 5. If I remember, isn't Morgan King like a 153 with an SD of 2? Right? He shoots a heavy and he floats a heavy with an SD of 2. So you telling a guy to buy a 6.5, now go get an SD of 2. Because that's the only way you're going to even, right? You go, oh, Morgan King shoots a 153. and you go, here's a box of Burger yellow and black 153. You go to a match, Morgan King's got his 6'5". What he don't say? They won't. They fuck production up. They don't care about production class. They don't let me tell you what. They're so stupid they don't understand the gun industry. Their sportsman division negates like 5 factory guns that are lower cost because of weight. They don't understand the gun industry. They may know what they like when it comes to PRS. They don't understand the gun industry and where people buy guns. Because I see new shooters. I see hundreds of new shooters. I see what they show up first buy out of the gate. It's not that gun that's going to win, right? The ammo's not going to win. I've told this story 1,000 times. One of the NRL Hunter guys with his factory load or his hand load that's a 0, shooting a 3-inch group at 1,000 yards. I gave the same guy out of the same gun a box of the same ammo, same bullet, but factory. I said, shoot me a group under the same conditions at 1,000 yards. He shot his hand loads and shot a 3-inch group in a 12-mile-an-hour wind. He shot a box of factory ammo and only got 4 out of 5 on the plate. No new shooter understands that dynamic of an SD below 5. None of them do. And so that's the problem. They understand who's in front of them and who's a fan. They understand the top 20 of PRS. The top 20, top 25 competitor, they got. Everybody else, they don't care. And it shows. The 26 to 100 make the sport. The 25 to 1 are your stars. They focus on the stars in hopes of attracting someone else. But it's the average guy that runs the golf game, right? There's only so many masters. The average guy is what keeps a club going. And they don't know how to talk to the average guy. I've said it 1,000 times if I've said it once. They need 2 divisions, open and limited. That's it. If you don't see, here's why, like, number one, I'm a fanatic for so many years. That's why I've been successful for 25 years, because I'm a fanatic. I obsess over this stuff. The other thing is I simplify things. When you go to a Frank class, I make it easier. Gravity ballistics is to make it easier. Craft quick wind is to make it easier. I take high-level things and simplify it. What we were doing is making things easier for people to access it. We made it easier. Sniper's Hide, the forum, making access easier. Right? They don't understand what they're trying to do. And so, hang on a second. I got to make one more message. Hold on. And so you have to make this easier. Grow the sport for them is a joke. That's a punchline. Once they realized it was grow my wallet, all the other shit went out the window. I'll phone in this part because I'm collecting the rest and nobody cares. The core audience that I'm talking to doesn't care we're doing the same thing over and over again and we turned it into a bowling league, a bad bowling league. They don't care. And as long as the money sustains, which it does, the main parties don't care. And so that's how that goes. And anyway, it's yeah, she fell. I don't know. She's fine. She fell off her horse. She'll be all right. I don't know what she's saying. Oh, she said not that type. I don't know what that means. You got to simplify it. Then within open, you can have a woman, you could have a law enforcement, and within limited, you can have a woman, you can have a kid, but there's only one way to make it fair and make it work. One thing rules this roost. One thing. And they don't address it. Zero addressing of it. One thing controls it. The bullet. If you let all the top people and everybody hand load and don't have anything for a non-hand loader, the hand loader will always win. And you're never going to grow a non-hand loader. And in their mind, hand load, spend money, right? Or time. It's time and money. But they don't address the guy that wants to enjoy himself around like-minded shooters who just wants to order a case of ammo, show up, shoot it, and go home. And then tell everybody he does it. But that's the deal, is that they want that. But if you did open and limited, and then open could be open, but then limited, put weight behind it too. Limit the weight. Because every sport has a weight limit, even race cars, right? You have to have a weight limit. And so, because weight is stability. And if you take your limited division, limit the barrel length to 26, limit the weight to 20 pounds, and then limit it to factory ammo, now you have a division people can live in and show up and just jump into that and work it. And then from there, all you have to do is A, B, and C class it. A, B, C class. Now, people have a pipeline for growth. People have a goal to try to go and get better. I'm a C class guy. I want to be an A by the end of the season. I'm a B class guy. I want to be an A by the end of the season. I'm C. If I make it to B, I'm happy. You gave them a goal. Instead of showing up, getting disenchanted, getting disillusioned. They just beat me every time and I don't have anything. Unless you have the discipline to hold yourself to a standard every time you go and then work to improve it, how are you ever going to get better? You have to have that personal drive and discipline. But if you gave them a pipeline for growth, bam! Fuck you, stupid fucks. It works. Other sports do it in degrees and it works. They're hard-headed because they don't want to change their clique, because they feel the change is caving into criticism, and they can't handle criticism. Any of it. Not one scintilla of it. That's why I got into a 45-minute fight at SHOT Show last year with these idiots, because they can't handle any criticism. That's not working for you guys. Yes, it is. You're wrong. Sure. Show me. I see your numbers, fucker. Right. It's just they never will, because it's an admission. It's an admission they're the problem. It's an admission they weren't thinking about it, and they don't. They're not fans. They're fans of money. That's it. They're not fans of shooting. You know, even going look at Jacob and I today. We're still out doing things for us to help others. The law enforcement clinic in Florida we did for free. We're friends. We're like, hey, we want this to be good. We want this to start on a positive footing. And then if you build a foundation for something, Look at how many times me or some of these guys will show up to like a major land. An early major land had one event, it didn't go well. We came to the next one, saw the problems. We came to the third one and we worked to fix it. And now we're in their system helping them make it better. Because if we create a solid foundation there, whatever they build on top when we're not around will be okay. So we go to these things ground level to help the foundation. And then let people run and do it how they want. But the foundation has to be strong. And it has to be more than the top 20 guys. It has to be the bottom 60. And that's where we're at. That's where that has to go. And we have the tools, we have the ability, they're just hard-headed. Everything's open. Everything's open. Whatever goes, goes. And it shows. The same people do the same thing every year, and it doesn't hardly change unless one of them barely shows up. One of them got something changed in their life. He's not there anymore. I mean, I talk to all these guys. I talk to people. I mean, hey, who's coming? Who's this? Who's that? They tell me there's about for a non top 25 shooter, it's about a 3-year lifespan. Shouldn't be that way. So anyway, that's my rant on them idiots, and that's where we're at with that. But yeah, it's crazy that there's so many options and so many things, and they limit it. Oh, production, sportsman's 13.5, what did this, 26. It's like, what are you doing? You're throwing anything stupid at the map. Oh, it's like, why? Because you know why? Because they wanted Beretta money. And Atika's under 13 pounds, and it's the sportsman. So give me Beretta money. Right. They totally, it's my way or the highway. I don't play their game because I don't want, even, I initially went, and when they said something to me, my first line, like within the first 3 minutes of standing face to face at SHOT Show last year, I said, I'm going to sponsor a team, and I just want to make sure that they're not negatively affected because they're sponsored by me. And they just laughed and looked at each other. That was it. And once I saw that, I'm like, they're not fair. They'll never be fair. I will never spend my money on a team that plays their game because that team will get negatively affected because my name's on their shirt or they know I'm giving them sponsorship. They'll bleed it to spite me, but not treat them fair. And they act like I don't know. You know what I mean? They act like they act like Laura wasn't in the freaking school circle of Team Gap for 5 years. You know? It's like, what do you think, I'm dumb? What do you think, I wasn't in that same circle before you guys? There wasn't periods throughout the history that I was sitting right there in the middle? Please, give me a break. And so, yeah. So that's when once I saw they weren't smart and don't know the gun industry, once I saw they were liars to your face and untrustworthy, I was not investing my money in it. So it's like, no, why would I invest my money and my time? And why would I try to lie to a team and tell them they're going to be treated fair and that things will go their way? You do your part, I'll do my part. That's not going to happen because that other side can manipulate, and they do. So Wasn't happening. But that's why early on last year I was talking about a team and sponsoring people, and then all of a sudden I stopped mentioning it because I stood face to face with them and didn't like a single word I heard. I think they're not smart and untrustworthy. There you go. That's my opinion. All right, guys. Well, I got to jump in and do some stuff and get some work done, and then I'll check out what's going on with my daughter Kiana. She fell. I don't know what kind of fall. Usually, when she says she fell off a horse. So more than likely, she dropped off her horse. So I'll call her and see what she's doing on her horse. But thanks everybody for stopping in and talking to us today and seeing us this Sunday morning. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Oh, quick! I'm gonna do a quick talk to Rusty, who won the Springfield Armory, the Springfield Armory rifle that we gave away. That's on his way to Rusty in Nebraska. Rusty was a 7-year Sniper's Hide member, so thank you for that winning. Also, this week, 3 of the 4 spears will be showing up. So I got spears going. They'll be coming to you a different route, Amazon rather than Tractor Supply. I went a different direction because Tractor Supply was a little bit different. But thank you to everybody who participated in that. Thank you for that. We'll talk to you before Christmas. But if we don't see you and talk to you guys for Christmas, thank you for a great year in the hide, and we will see you soon. But really appreciate you. Go over the hide, check out the videos. The Leica Colin X2 is up there and all that. But really appreciate everything. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. We'll talk to you then. Later.